Greetings and welcome to the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over the monthly stats for Kill Team. But before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video if you found it useful and helpful. Remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, an affiliate Element Games, an affiliate and discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support as well. But let's get on with today's video. So yeah, today I'm going over the monthly stats for September, covering all the tournament stats around the world for Kill Team. And once again, thanks goes to Smiles Lies Gunfire, who has helped collate all of this from the Best Coast Pairings app, as well as a few other apps. If you don't use those, just let us know and we can add the data to it. But yeah, I'm going to go through all the stats for September, as well as an early look at the quarter 3 stats. So let's see how the game is shaping up. Once again, there'll be an article version for the official stats website done by Smiles Lies Gunfire in the episode description, which will be up to date like a day or two after that this video goes up, and you can see more in-depth stats like faction matrix, like faction view faction and stuff like that. So let's get on with the stats. So starting off, September was also another busy month for Kill Team. August was quite busy, but so was September. So America, once again, 34 events, the most events with 464 players. The United Kingdom with 15 events and 286 players, and then Spain with 14 events and 197. And you can see it going all the way down, as well as to the best country, the Philippines, with 6 players and 1 event. Thailand had 2 events with 6 players, so cool. And then you go even Japan and Hong Kong, both 1 event each with 19 and 18 players respectively. And then as you can see on the world map, you can see that better spread out. You know, the brighter a country is, the more populated it is in terms of players. So America burning hot with passion for Kill Team. But we had 14 total events, well, 122 events, 14 GTs, and 1,573 players, which is a little bit down, but it's still a lot, which is good. So going into the win rate, so, you know, this is for 8 or more players and 3 or more rounds. So just the general kind of tournaments. So starting off with the 71% win rate, our Wormblade only with 43 games, so, you know, not the biggest faction there. Then you've got Chaos Cult, 64% with 47 games. Then you had Void Dancer Troop with 62% win rate with 109 games, so they're consistently overperforming again. Then we have Canoptic Circle, 60% with 197 games, which is actually very decent and good representation there. It's totally fine, don't worry about it. Then you've got Corsairs, 58%, but with only 74 games. Novitiates with 58%, but with only 45. Star Striders with 58%, but only 13 games, so that's not the most reliable statistic. Then you've got Sanctifiers, 58% with 106 games, so down on last month. Deathwatch, they're the most popular faction, well, almost the most popular faction in the game in their first month with 341 games and a 57% win rate. It's also fine. And then you got Warp Coven, only 50 games but a 56% win rate. So those are all the overperforming factions. We've got some regulars and then both 2 mode teams, so it's all good, don't worry about it. Then we have Brood Brothers at 55%, Aquilon at 54%, doing really well. Hyrotech dropped down to 54%, Plague Ring go up to 54%. You got Galapox at 54%, well, 53%. Then you got Hunterclade, Blades of Cain, Jaegers. Blades of Cain actually down to 53%, but still a very respectable win rate. Novitiate, well, Nemesis Claw and Jaegers, both, well, 53 and 52%. Felgor jumping up to 51%, so, and they've actually gone up in games, so they're doing a lot better. Blooded at 51%, they're perfectly balanced. Ratling's up to 51%. Raveners, still the most popular faction in the game, just like barely. Dead 50% win rate, they're completely balanced. Inquisition at 50%. Phobos at 49, Wreckers at 49, Hand of the Archon, but this is their best month in months, depressingly, 47%, and Breachers at 47. Then below 45, we have Vespid. They're dipping down this month down to 42%. Goremongers, worst month ever, 42%. Battleclade, they're doing a bit better at 41%. Angels of Death, down to 165 players, a 41% win rate. They're all gone. They're all Deathwatch now. Exaction Squad dropping down to 40% with 64 games. Commandos at 40% with 73 games. Halfkin Salvagers at 40% with only 53. Legionary dropping down to 40% with 119 games. Deathcore crashing down to 39 with 27 games. Scouts at 37% with 51 games. Mandrakes, worst month in like ever, 37% with 101 games. So they went up in popularity and just got worse. Pathfinder's 37%, 26 games. Farstalker Kinband, 33%, 70 games. They got more popular and just more people learned what pain means. And then Kazakin, 31 games, 24%. It's okay, Kazakin players. I love you all. It's fine. So here it all is in chart format. So you can see the lovely bar graph. It's not getting better. You've got more underperforming teams, more overperforming teams. I've been repeating myself for months now. Unfortunately, the meta is still in a horrible state. We now just have more overperforming teams via power creep, and then more underperforming teams because they're suffering. So it's a great spread we have there. Now here's all the podium data for the month of September. Now it's not as in depth as other months because there's just so many games in this format. So here's it all in chart format. And then in the graph, you can see Raveners, despite their perfectly balanced win rate, have won 9 events. They won the most, and then they went undefeated 5 times as well. So it's terrifying. Then you had Aquilons, who also won 9 events. So they're doing amazingly well. Deathwatch won 8 events. Canoptic Circle won 7 events. Nemesis Claw won 5, along with Blades of Cain. Sanctifiers won 4 events. Hierotech won 3 events. Corsairs and Novitiates and Void Dancers all won 3 events. Plague Marines, Chaos Cult, Vespid, Mandrakes, Wormblade, Breachers all won 2 events. Interestingly, shouting out to Vespid and Mandrakes, who had pretty bad win rates, but they still won 2 events, as well as Breachers. It's breaching time. Goremongers and Rattlings also won 2 events. Then winning 1 event is Phobos, Wreckers, Inquisition, Angels of Death, Brood Brothers, Half-Kin Salvagers, Farstalker Kinband, Legionary Commandos, Hunterclade, and Warp Coven, with Felgor going undefeated twice, Exaction and Galapox and Blooded all going undefeated once. So the only factions who didn't win an event this time are Felgor, Exaction, Galapox, Blooded, Battleclade, Hand of the Archon, Starstriders, Jaegers, Pathfinders, Kazakin, Deathcore, and Scouts. So actually, if you look at it, we basically have nearly 3/4 of the meta winning events, even if they're only 3-round events, which is still pretty good. You know, that's at the top end's pretty bad. Like, you know, but there's some positives. Now we go into GT Plus for September. So this is for tournaments with 4 more rounds and 16 or more players. This is generally what we would consider the more competitive stats and what Games Workshop generally use to balance the game when they decide to use stats. So starting off, we have Wormblade at 80% with 23 games. Chaos Cult at 61% with 23 games. Canoptic Circle, 60%, 97 games. Don't worry about it. Felgor, 60%. 35 games. So there's less games, but they're actually doing a lot better when it comes to competitive events, which is really quite respectable considering last month they were down in like the 40s. Aquilon's at 60% with 106 games. Void Dancer Troop. It's 2020, it's 2022 all over again. They're at 60% win rate with 66 games. Wreckers at 60% with 60% with 51 games. Nice there. Deathwatch, 167 games, the second most popular faction in the game, with a 59% win rate. It's great. And then Blooded, bringing out the competitiveness, 56%, but only 31 games. Then in the healthy range, we have Corsairs with only 30 games, Hierotech, 54%, Hunterclade, 54%, Sanctifiers, down to 52, Nemesis Claw, 52, Jaegers, 52, Plague Marines, 51, Galapox, 50, with Deathcore, Rattlings, Hand of the Archon going up to 49%, Inquisition at 48, Warp Coven at 47, Blades of Cain, Raveners at 47 with Novitiates and Mandrakes, and then Scouts at 45% and Exaction Squad at 45%. Then you have Brood Brothers just below 45, so they're fine. Goremongers down to 42%, Halfkin at 40%, Angels of Death at 38, with Pathfinders, Commandos at 37, Phobos at 35, they crashed down. Legionary 35% as well, Vespid at 31, Battleclade at 31, Breachers at 30, Farstalker Kinband at 27, and Kazakin at 20%. So not as many games for all of those factions. Like Pathfinders literally just had 1 dude playing 4 games, but they tried. And that's the important thing. So it's in graph format, and it's absolutely wonky, isn't it? It's great. Some interesting stats here. So like Mandrakes had a horrible overall result when you look at like 3-round events, but when you look at more competitive events, they're actually doing a lot better. Their win rate is much better in this format, like in the healthy range, which is really strange. You just have the worrying brightness of Deathwatch and Raveners. So many of them. Goremonger's consistently underperforming for this month, so they're really not liking the new teams at all. But yeah, you know, it's really kind of unchanged. Like, oddly, Breaches, they did amazingly, and like they're doing pretty okay in like normal, and then they've done worse in GT Plus, like Phobos crashing down, Sanctifier's even doing a bit worse. So, you know, it's just an interesting look. Then this is the podium data for GT Plus. So this time we're looking at how many times a faction won an event, how many times they went undefeated, as well as podium data. So let's go on. So as you can see, once again, when it comes to tournament performance, Aquilons won the most events and they podiumed 3 times. Deathwatch won 2 events and podiumed twice, going undefeated once. Canoptic Circle won 1 event and podium twice. Then Hierotech, Sanctifiers, and Wormblade all won 1 event and podium once each. Nemesis, Claw, Corsairs, Void Dancer Troop, and Mandrakes all won an event. Felgor podium twice. Wreckers and Chaos Cult, or they didn't podium, they just went all undefeated. Then Raveners podiumed 4 times, Blooded podium twice, Plague Marines, Angels of Death, Hunterclade, Jaegers, Hand of the Archon, Brood Brothers, and Ratlings all podiumed as well. And then Deathwatch had the highest ratio of 3 wins and maximum of 1 loss. They like completely dethroned Nemesis Claw. Nemesis Claw is kind of like, they're not as bad, but they nowhere were near as dominating as they were last month. So Deathwatch, very terrifying, but then close behind them are Canoptic and Aquilons. So when it comes to just like tournament data, so like for podium placement, Aquilons are the champions there. But if you're looking at win rates and podium data, it's the Deathwatch and Canoptic teams. And even then, you've still got Hierotech and Sanctifiers doing very well when it comes to tournament performance as well, even though their win rates have gone down. Then looking at GT Long for September, so these are for our like super major events, so 30 or more players with 5 or more rounds. So we only had 2 events this time, 1 in Florida and 1 in London. So Wormblade, 6 games, 100% win rate. Don't worry, it's literally fine. Plague Marines, they had 6 games, won 5, lost once, 83% win rate. Canoptic, this is bad. So 33 games, but a 76% win rate. Then Corsairs, 12 games, so 67. Brood Brothers, only 6 games, but 67%. Sanctifiers, 12 games, 62%. It's no longer the 60 games they had. Inquisition, actually going up to 61% with 18 games. Deathwatch, they're the most popular faction. 86 games, 61% win rate is fine, don't worry about it. Wreckers, 12 games, but a 58% win rate. Chaos Cult, 58% with 12 games as well, along with Void Dancer Troop. Hierotech Circle, 57% win rate with 30 games. Then you got Hunterclade, just at 56% with 18 games. In the healthy range, you've got Novitiates, Felgor, Hand of the Archon, Blades of Cain, Deathcore, Aquilons, Goremongers, so they're doing a lot better in GT Long, Mandrakes, Nemesis Claw, and Raveners. Then below the healthy range, we have Exaction Squad and Jaegers at 42, Blooded at 40, Scouts at 38, Ratlings at 36, Halfkin Salvagers at 36, Vespid and Commanders at 33, Angels of Death, Legionary at 29%, evenly matched, Battleclade crashing down to 27%, Kazakin a 25% win rate, nice, Farstalker Kinband, Kazakin are better than you at 22%. Then you had Breaches at a 16% win, well, 70% win rate. And then it's only 2 games from Galapox, but unfortunately Galapox take the 0%. So you got 100 and 0. We've got full circle completion. So here's in graph format. And yeah, look, GT Long is always going to be a bit silly. We have less factions, they're rarer events, but we get more competitive content from it. So it's not great. Like, there's hardly any teams doing just okay in GT Long. Teams are either dominating or just trash. There's very little in between. But GT Long events are always a bit swingy. As I said, this is like the first month where Hierotech and Sanctifiers haven't had like 60 games in GT Long. But they've done respectively well. But it's just it looks great. It's fine. Then here's the GT Long podium data. So as you can see, we have Canoptic and Wormblade both won an event. Deathwatch went undefeated once, as well as like podiuming. And then Hieratech, Hand of the Archon, and Aquilons all podiumed as well. With the highest 3-on-1 ratios, you actually basically had Deathwatch and then Canoptic, right? There. I love new releases. They are so great. They are very good. The Wormblade results are funny because it's a perfect one. And then Novitiates, Inquisition, Plague Marine, Sanctifiers, yeah, they all went 3-on-1. Like they had the most 3-on-1s overall. It's just wonky. I mean, it's not even just wonky. It's just, it doesn't look good. It's not a great sample size, but the results aren't the best. Now we're looking at the quarter 3 data. So this is actually the data that Games Workshop may use to drop for the October Balance Dataslate. It is due in 3 weeks. This is for GT Plus. So this is for all the games up until just after the last Balance Dataslate. So we have Wormblade, 63%, but only 34 games. So not really that reliable, but still fine. Canoptic Circle, 97 games, 60%. So just 1 month, but damn. Deathwatch also just 1 month at 60%. So the two world teams are balanced at least around each other. Novitiates, only 45 games, but a 59% win rate. Then we've got Hieratech Circle, 58% win rate with 291 games. Sanctifiers, 57%, 235 games, which is actually quite respectable. Hunterclade, only 67 games, but they are 57%. So they've done very well in this quarter. And then Void Dancer Troop, 56%, 270 games. I'm not even just going to say anything, like the Void Dancer Troop players already hate me. Then in healthy ranges, so they have 55 to 45% range, you have Aquilons, Nemesis Claw, Felgor, Warp Coven, Legionary, Raveners, Inquisition, Brood Brothers, Blaziken, Galapox, Jaegers, Mandrakes, Phobos, Chaos Cult, Corsairs, Wreckers, Angels of Death, Star Striders, Hand of the Archon, and Goremongers. Goremongers just finish like fine. They had so many games. I think it was the pre-2 mode release that was carrying them. Now, like, oh my gosh, September's been horrible for them, but overall, they've done pretty good. Fastalker Kinban at 44%, like riding the highs of before Tomb World. Ratlings, they actually started horribly and have only gotten better in the last month. So this is probably related to Approved Ops 2025. So that's why they're only at 44%, but with 41 games. Plague Marines at 44% with 187 games. Exaction Squad at 44%. Commandos at 43. Blooded at 43. Scouts at 42. Death Corps at 42. Breaches at 41, but that's actually an improvement for them generally. Halfkin Salvagers down to 39%. Battleclade crashing down to 36. Pathfinders at 35 and Kazakin at 27%. So here all is in graph format, and as you can see, looking at the quarter 3 data, the healthy range has shrunk. We still have the same overperforming teams we did before the last Balance Dataslate. They've basically just been joined by the 2 world kill teams and a very confused section of Wormblade players. And then below the healthy range, it's the same as before. Rallies have actually improved. You have you do have Goremongers like, please just wait another month so we can get buffed. Just get us buffed. Scouts have done worse. Blooded have done worse. Breaches have done better, like 39% is amazing for them. Battleclade have dropped down quite heavily, unfortunately. Pathfinders are just sitting at 35, and Kazakin, yeah, they're not doing well, but you know, it's fine. Now here's the placement data. So this is all the placement data for Q3, and it's also kind of, as you'll see in the chart, kind of tabulated for averages. So as you can see, when it comes to placement, combining like podium data as well as how well a faction places, Raveners are the best because they are the most popular faction, but they are consistently doing well. Now this will include data from Approved Ops 2024 where they were more powerful with Implant, but still an impressive stat overall, and they did very well for September. Void Dancer Troops, they're showing like they're actually a great tournament placing faction to run at the moment. Nemesis Claw still riding the coattails of how they were performing previously. Aquilon's consistently good, as well as Sanctifiers and Hieratech. Deathwatch and Canoptic, just a reminder, they're only 1 month worth of stats, but actually based on tournament data that we've had so far, Deathwatch do place better than Canoptic, obviously showing like which one's harder to play, but you know, even that's only 1 month data, it's quite comparable to the other 3-month data, is kind of worrying. Brood Brothers are pretty good as well as Inquisition. Then you've got Angels of Death middling out, and then you've got teams underperforming now, like below average, including factions now like Plague Marines, Legionary, even Warp Coven. Hunterclade is doing better, but still not great. Goremongers have kind of dropped off from performance-wise as well in average. And then you've just got like the worst teams, which is just Battleclade, Halfkin, Kazakin, Scoutman John, and Breaches, Deathcore, and Pathfinder, Scabba. And then here's all the the events. There's so many events. Look, there's so many. They're so tiny. I can't even read them all. So for the September stats overall, it's just not great, but I'm not even in a mood to be upset because, you know, I try and be impartial on the stats, but also nothing really has changed with the past balance data slate. So in the past 3 to 5 months, we've seen no real change. The biggest thing to point out is while Raveners are the most popular faction in the game, they are now being like, they will basically be replaced next month by Deathwatch. Deathwatch are so popular, like damn. The 2-mod kill teams in general are just, well, at least for this month, and you know, we do need to see the other months to see how they do, but it's not good that both basically has 60% with really high representation rate and also doing very well from a podium data standpoint. That's not a good sign. Hierotek and Sanctifiers are still doing very well, but they have a little bit of a drop, obviously because some of their players have moved to those 2-mod kill teams. I was actually talking to Smiles Lies Gunfire about this, and his theory is like all the Hierotek players just went, yeah, we're Canoptic now, which isn't actually necessarily true, because even at the London GT, we had a lot of veteran Canoptic, Hierotek Circle players doing very well. They're still a very strong kill team. You've got notable losers like Nemesis Claw. While they are good Deathwatch hunters, they have dropped down in tournament performance. But speaking of tournament performance, Aquilons is still an amazingly consistent kill team. They've been consistently overperforming, at least when it comes to podium data for this entire, quarter, so they've been doing very well. And then you've even got stuff like Void Dancer Troop bouncing back. Yeah, they were like, Blades of Cain the best, watch me dance on you, bro. Like, yeah, Void Dancer Troop in a very good position. Wormblade obviously had a great month. They went 100% GT long. But they are a good kill team. Like, I know a lot of people slept on them, like didn't think they were that great, but I think they've always been strong. And then, yeah, Goremongers are just struggling now. They were already struggling into Raveners, and now they have to try and deal with Deathwatch as well as Canoptic, as well as more Hierotek Circle, so it's not a great time for them. And then, yeah, you know, actually, Breach is doing pretty good. Hunterclade had an amazing month. Star Striders did pretty okay. Hand of the Archon did a lot better. Mandrakes were really confusing. They were bad overall, but when you got to more competitive events, they did a lot better. Phobos did quite bad as well. You can see it's difficult to see if it's people are dropping off these factions because of power creep, or if it's because of rotation. You know, they're just like, well, these teams technically aren't legal from November at GW events and classified events, so we're going to stop playing them. It would explain why Legionary is doing so bad as well. Blooded had a slightly better month. Angels of Death are now the true OG Space Marines, because those are the true players who didn't abandon the team for Deathwatch, although you're completely justified to. So, yeah, I mean, we're just hoping for a balanced data slate. It should come October. Like, it's due October. Hopefully it comes earlier. Like, I'm just tired of how unbalanced the game is and how ridiculous the stats are getting. Like, if the last balanced data slate made some major changes, like major nerfs, major buffs, it wouldn't have been so bad. But the fact we've kind of been stuck in this meta for 5 months just gets really draining. The only thing that really changed it was actually injecting 2-mode into the meta. Partly because, you know, we've also got Approved Ops 2025, and we are seeing like some teams seemingly improve now. We've got Approved Ops 2025 in play. Like Ratlings are doing a lot better with 2025, which would make sense due to making TAC Ops harder to max while making the crit op more important, because they're a team that always excelled on the crit op and now have really strong archetypes to access from. So going forward into October, we should see more how that plays out. And yeah, you know, we should have a balanced data slate, so we'll see. It's not great, right? Unfortunately, we are in a state where if you want to play competitively, you basically have 10 factions to select from, and the other 30 are there if you are just playing for fun, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately, this is how the meta is right now, which isn't great, so that's why we're hoping for a balanced data slate. But Once again, thanks goes to Smiles Lies Gunfire. Without him, none of this would be possible. I'm also an egg because I am flying to America. But remember, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video if you found it useful or helpful. Remember, I've got an article version down in the episode description below, which is the stats website. I've got a Discord you can check out free in the episode description below, and a affiliate at Lemon Games, and a affiliate Discord code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support, and I'm just going to shout out my patrons. So for my address of the crew, I have Tom, the Houston Toad, Super Cow Sam, Nick, Mr. Meatward, Marshall, Lucas, Graham, Fangzu, Draken, Dan, Dada Goldens, Chris, Alex, Amorphium, and Alexis. So thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me, help support the channel. But yeah, I'm an egg. Look, I'm just literally, I finished 2 13-hour shifts. I did LGT for 2 days. I've just finished another 2 13-hour shifts. I've recorded this video. I'm going to edit it. Then I'm going to pack, and then I'm going to get ready and fly to America. So when this video goes out, I'm either just boarding a plane or I'm making my way to America for the Las Vegas Open. So I am very jet lagged. I'm doing the LGT and LVO back to back. This is LVO 2025 too. So, you know, yeah, the stats are great. So fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It is generally disappointing that basically if you don't play 10 of the selected good factions, you're not really going to have a good time. I mean, like actually, if you play those 10 factions that have a chance, you're actually having an enjoyable stay in the game. Those other 10 factions, I mean, those other 30 plus factions are playing for vibes, or Sweet Summer Child, you're just not ready, and it's fine. Don't worry about it. You're going to have a good time. You're going to make a lot of friends. Look at those Kazakhstan players. We've got dedicated Kazakhstan players. But remember, no matter what the stats say about Kill Team, there's always a chance to win, as long as you can roll a crit.